But right now, Brady, Dak, and Deshaun all make their debut on Sunday afternoon, September 8th on Fox. When the Cowboys visit the Browns, the matchup was announced at a Fox event yesterday. Here's Tom Brady.
Amazing. Obviously, having the Cowboys on is a huge draw. As America's team, that's going to get a little hard for me to say that all the time. I understand they were the competition for a long time. But in this new role, I know the Cowboys, how important they are to this network. They got great storylines. Come on, Dak Prescott. Let's see if he can finally come through. One of the great defensive players. Did that just slip out?
Okay. Now, Dak in season openers, he hasn't come through in the playoffs.
This isn't unfair.
Well, he hasn't been great.
Yeah. What is the second?
Not named Giants. What is he against the Giants?
3-1 against the Giants.
I actually think
not
that's
playing the
fair.
Giants.
I do think that's fair, Nick.
That's fair.
Because they're not
playing the
facing the Giants. They're facing the tough, gritty Cleveland Browns.
You know what that is?
What? That's dirty pool. I could also say, not against teams, not the Giants or Tom Brady, he would still be 0-2. There's a lot of way to slice it.
Go ahead. Sorry.
In any event, Brew, how much pressure is Dak under?
Can I say this too? Just my opinion. I think Brady was just quoting the storyline. Because that is the storyline. I don't think Brady was saying those are his thoughts. I think he was just quoting the storyline of, we all wondering, is Dak going to pull through? Yeah. And the pressure is enormous. One, he doesn't have a contract. Your team seems to be saying for the first time, essentially, they made him wait for the last contract too. But your team is saying, go out and prove it. Prove to us you are great. Yeah. And the thing is this, and it's tough when you know I'm not going to really be judged until January.
Yeah.
Correct.
He was fantastic last year.
Right.
All right, in the regular season, and then he struggled. And I think for the first time in years, or maybe ever, people are really doubting Dak as far as the playoffs. Like, we know he's lost playoff games, hasn't won a ton of them. But last year, they were so good, particularly at home. And then you face one of the youngest teams to make the playoffs in decades, and you, wet the bed. Like, it looked like Dak was not ready for the moment.
Big eyes.
And so people are now wondering about that. So the pressure is enormous. And he also, look, there's value in being the Cowboys quarterback. And he can play it. He should play it like, hey, I'll go somewhere else. But he also needs to know I am not the celebrity I am today.
New York Giants quarterback. And
not like the Cowboys.
Yeah, well, maybe. Eli Manning's pretty famous.
They won 2 Super Bowls, too.
Yeah, no, I get it. I understand that. The fact of the matter is, to me, there is massive legacy pressure, but zero, money pressure. Dak is going to get paid. Given the fact that Kirk Cousins, with the same playoff resume, but 5 years older, pops an Achilles and gets $45 million a year.
Well, he don't want that.
No,
I
understand.
think the Cowboys would gladly pay
of
Dak.
course, but that's right. But he's not going to age 5 years this season. I don't think he's going to pop his Achilles. My point is, if Dak remains unsigned, he will next offseason become the highest paid player in the history of the league if he leaves. Flatly.
Well,
I would.
Lamar Jackson didn't.
Where Lamar was not a free agent. Lamar was not able
But
to leave.
they put it out there, and the teams could have made offers.
Right, but
for
that was different because they had franchise tagged him. The Cowboys are not allowed to franchise tag Dak. It will be the Kirk Cousins situation where he can go take meetings, and so I don't think there's any monetary pressure on Dak at all. At all. I think he is going to become the league's first $60 million a year player next offseason. Either way. But
even if he has a mediocre season and loses his
I
first
agree
playoff
with you
game.
that he's going to get paid.
Guys.
But where I disagree is the highest paid quarterback ever.
We live in a world where 6 of the first 12 picks were quarterbacks, including Bo Nix. We live in a world where Baker, after being on the scrap heap, has 1 year that nobody thought was like an all-pro level year, and he got $65 million guaranteed, $100 million total. Kirk Cousins, after blowing his Achilles tendon, got $100 million guaranteed. Dak would be the best as far as his age.
Jordan Love could be available.
Well, but he won't be because they can franchise him. The Cowboys are not allowed to trade him. They're not allowed to franchise him. So, but there is real legacy pressure and legacy in this regard. I'm going to name 8 NFC quarterbacks in no order. Dak, Jalen, Jared Goff, Jordan Love, Caleb Williams, Kirk Cousins, Brock Purdy, Matt Stafford. I think if you asked 100 football fans, rank those guys 1 through 8, you would get 75 different answers. I think that last year he was the best quarterback in the NFC, at least according to in the regular season, the MVP voting, the awards. Sure. But right now, I think people would, on that list, I think some people would put Dak 7th or 8th, him and Kirk at the bottom.
Possible.
People wouldn't have Jalen ahead of him. People wouldn't have Jordan Love ahead of him.
Why does he get penalized so much when Jalen's on a killer losing streak?
Listen,
Caleb hasn't played a game.
Well, because Jalen played great in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. By the way, I'm not a Jalen Hurts guy.
I like Jalen, but it's like if we're going to penalize Dak for one guy.
They might have Purdy. They might have Stafford. I would have Caleb. Colin just wrote a love letter to Jared Goff, and he just got all that money. There's guys.
Good job,
I'm just saying.
Colin. Some people hating on Goff.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.